Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma in the winter. And my god, I wish it was winter here as well, because it's too damn hot. We shall be watching Warboss. No, not that different kind of Warboss, but fighting for the Germans. Yes, indeed, for the Reich. He moves out to the tune of the 1st Panzer Division, going up against Sageofthesix, a man known for anything but his sage-like behavior, fighting for the Soviet Union. Hoorah for the 5th Guards Rifle Division. Guards being something applied to divisions that proved themselves in combat. Not quite sure what else happened. There's certainly some different sources that say either they actually didn't get any better equipment or training, some say they did. It's a bit tricky. In particular, it's not uncommon to see that division, for example, in particular, Soviet ones did not get their full infantry or vehicle complement throughout the war. In particular, in the later stages of the war, by 1944-45, a lot of both German and Russian divisions were permanently under strength, which is also something you generally don't hear much about. But we are seeing a conscript start, additional conscripts moving up there. I mean, nothing unusual there. Grenadiers, MG, so far, pretty bog standard play from both players. Warboss seemingly focusing on the north. Both players, in fact, interesting so far, ignoring the south, securing the center, going for the only munitions point on Kholodny Ferma. Could this be an indicator of what Warboss's plans are? We also, of course, note he's rushed straight for the northern fuel point. So that, of course, is another indicator of what Sageofthesix might be trying himself. I hope I didn't call him Warboss. But victory point there secured. Pretty much close each other. And there we go, oorahing with conscripts, quickly getting on to point. Center secured. MG looks to be sitting out covering position there. Grenadiers moving ahead. All a bit quiet though, all a bit quiet. And there we go, the Grenadiers open up from the farm building. Most of their guns firing away. The most of their gun being a very old rifle, basically World War I, if not before, sort of era, with minor upgrades throughout the period. Same thing with the Kar-98K, based on a much older rifle, which was constantly upgraded and modified. Pioneers pushed away from the north, and so on. The Russians were actually planning on sort of going towards semi-automatic rifles just like the Americans. The problem was the Germans then attacked and they couldn't quite produce them in large enough numbers, so they ended up relying still on largely the Mosin Nagant, but the Soviets were working towards something more automated, just like the Americans, in fact, which is also why the machine guns were considerably like the American machine guns, not so absolutely brilliant like the German MG42, or at least not quite as handy, or for that matter as modern. They were largely still relying on World War I era machine guns, just like the Americans. And now we are seeing, in fact, Warboss focusing on the south and realize that perhaps for the time being the north is lost to the Bolsheviks. Conscripts make a run for the church, but sadly, no service today for atheists.
Production upgrade accomplished.
And we're noting here a fast rush. I mean, we occasionally see fast rushes for Germans. I mean, there's certainly some spread now in, what they actually go for in the first game. You'd usually see, a decent tier 1 or heavy tier 1, then tier 2. But now, it's beginning to become more and more common to see a swift rush going on from the Germans, which is certainly interesting. Special Rifle Command going up, so that could likely mean a scout car, perhaps snipers, perhaps some other fun bits. Conscripts making a rush here for the Grenadiers. And a Molotov cocktail lob in the direction of the Grenadiers, and then proceeding to run straight into the fire, perhaps hoping to catch some of the vapors that might still remain, have not yet been burned. Conscripts catching on fire as others are getting shot down. This is not really working out for Sageofthesix. Conscripts moving in. MG42 sending out a bit of flank exposed there, and he's actually just turning about on the spot, which allows very well a Molotov to set off. And there we go, poor Friedrich caught on fire. Second MG42 up. Could we see some building going on soon from Mr. Warboss? Rifle grenade, MG42 fire. Second MG42 here in a bit of trouble again. The conscripts are within range to Molotov, but at the same time they are quite within range of the MG42. Quickly pinned and just getting gutted. by the heavy machine gun fire and the MP40s, though they should probably also consider getting out of there before they burst into fire. And there goes Special Rifle Command is up, but again noting already Sageofthesix holds most of the north. Warboss fighting desperately to hold the south and the resources there. And going out a bit aggressively there, and we do see that the first scout car is out. One of many types of Lend-Lease vehicles provided to the Russians. They also in fact received the Bren carrier from the British, though that was less Lend-Lease just handed over. It's a gift sort of thing. Scout car rushing ahead. I wonder what Sageofthesix could be up to. Panzerfaust flies and actually misses, impressively enough, allowing the scout car to move on, and the MG42 is in dire straits as conscripts and the scout car moves in. 50 caliber, 30 caliber, raking down the machine gun crew. And there we go, the MG42 has been abandoned, the crew is dead. Grenadiers are moving up in, try and see if they can't catch it, but they are definitely in a risky situation. Panzerfaust impacts with the scout car, but ultimately does not do enough, and the Reich's brave soldiers are forced away. Scout car following up. I mean, not scout car, but half-track. Could it be a flame for a half-track, followed up by Panzer Grenadiers? Combat engineers running straight into the second MG42, the one that remains. But definitely Sageofthesix holds a bit of an advantage at the moment. He's also getting Guards infantry now. So that is one of 3 doctrines at the moment. Guards Rifle Combined Arm, Guards Motor and Mechanized Support Doctrine. All 3 offer up Guards Rifle Infantry.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. Half-track awaiting orders. We are under attack.
Half-track moving up, and could it be he's already has anti-tank grenades?
Our forces increase.
It certainly seems that Warboss is a bit concerned with that. And there we go, Flammenwerfer upgrade. Since the machine guns at the current moment pretty much do nothing. Warboss being a bit bold, going in for the fuel point there, trying to harass, as we also see that Sageofthesix looks like to be pressuring victory points rather severely. Perhaps hoping to close the fight as quickly as possible that way.
Blizzard conditions are now in effect. Don't let us freeze here.
Trying to secure both fuel points, or at least hold away the Russians from them. And there we go, Guards Rifle Infantry in the scout car, a nasty composed force. And there we go, anti-tank grenade just as the flamethrower upgrade is ready, and the conscripts themselves burst into flames. Forced to run past the flamethrower half-track, that could end up badly, and yes it did. Well, at least badly for the Soviets, less badly for the Germans, but now with the scout car has arrived, the Guards infantry are ready, anti-tank rifles are firing into the exposed rear of the half-track. Grenadiers are trying to hunt it down, but I fear they will not be able to do it. It's already cold, they might end up dying of, well, cold on the middle of the road. Definitely not looking good for the soldiers of the Reich. Sageofthesix is being forced further and further back as points are being constantly cut off. Scout car now is in fact on the way, flame for a half-track, trying to somehow escape the gaze, and there we go, it's Guards Rifle Combined Arms as we are seeing hit the dirt. Another favourite Soviet ability.
We are losing a sector.
Looks like the flame for a half-track is escaping notice of Soviet patrols for the time being.
German territory increases. We have a new scout car. Enemy forces
There
are
we go,
securing our
Leichte
territory.
Panzerspielwagen rolls out. Flame for a half-track continues to hide.
Reinforcements complete.
Second squad of Panzer Grenadiers on the way, and there we go, MG42 in the building coming under fire. Guards Rifle move ahead, riding the scout car.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
And there we go, we're seeing armor-piercing rounds. The scout car moves in, but it has been upgraded. On the other hand, if you can block the path of the scout car, the armor-piercing rounds should finish it off. And there we go, tearing through the scout car. Guards Rifle Infantry though managed to get out of their life, but that was definitely close. Quick grenade. Veteran G2. Incendiary armor-piercing rounds just tearing through the Guards infantry, as those bullets certainly do a lot. Not looking good for Yuri right here, but he manages it, lugging back his precious light machine gun. And now an assault against the church. Rifle grenades and other fun bits. 2 rifle grenades, a small volley right there. Ultimately, that forces out the conscripts but without causing any casualties. And now the flamethrower half-track is rolling back. Like a hearse away from a funeral.
Yes.
Panzer gun is being pushed north. No additional buildings, and looks like already fresh conscripts are arriving, and they're already being oorah'd onto the field. MG42 continues to maintain a position here. Apparently Sageofthesix wants to keep a sort of blocking position here, but can't quite cover this. Oh, never mind me then. Never mind me then. There we go, Grenadiers pinned to the ground. And submachine guns already being handed out. The PPSH 41. Sageofthesix certainly not taking any chances to, or missing any chances to upgrade his infantry. Grenadiers running into a problem with the Guards infantry. Panzers charging ahead. Will they hit the dirt? There we go. That's definitely going to make things a bit more problematic for the Panzer Grenadiers, although Molotov also getting lobbed, bomb grenade getting lobbed. And that looks like this conscript squad could go down the retreat to the sheer volume of fire from the Panzer Grenadiers and their Sturmgewehrs. And there we go, very much toured. Guards infantry continue to fight from an exposed position, crossing the street, trying to hit into some cover, perhaps flank the Grenadiers as well, which would definitely have better prospects of success. Munitions cache spotted right there. Ooh, it's actually time to forward to Sageofthesix, going for the mechanized armor Campanea. And actually noting that Sageofthesix is very low on infantry. Very, very low. Which is definitely quite unfortunate for him. And there going, he's actually getting the Su-76. Actually a unit I quite like, but you rarely see it. Largely because currently the Su-85 simply outshines it, but also because a lot of people don't seem to quite get it. As that's actually quite a fun little unit. Conscripts trying to outrun fire itself, not quite succeeding though in the endeavour. Troops reinforcing. Now it's Sageofthesix on the back foot as the 1st Panzer Division presses the assault, and the support armor corps is up. And there you go, the Su-76 arriving based on a T-70 chassis. Although I think it was actually slightly enlarged for the Su-76. The Su-76 might not be an Su-85, but on one hand it's, for example, quite dirt cheap, only 160 manpower, 55 fuel. It also has quite the rate of fire and does quite alright damage, plus it actually levels up quite fast, which is also one of its advantages. There we go, flamethrower after actually gets abandoned. That was in some ways perhaps fortunate. Guards infantry are encountering some problems with the Panzer Grenadiers. Men are being lost. Su-76 gets out of there. Guards infantry need to retreat. Sadly though, they are lost. Bombardment going on against the half-track, wiping out several pioneers. Desperately trying to get it, but can't quite succeed. Light machine guns and anti-tank rifles are dropped across the field. More conscripts on the way. This looks like we are seeing that Sageofthesix is diverting most of it towards the north, but already they're close to Veterancy 1. Again, one of its many interesting advantages. That basically Veterancy is up fast, which once it hits Veterancy 2 means it actually does alright damage. Plus, of course, it still retains that high rate of fire.
All units are here. Soldiers ready. Su-76, go ahead.
And southern victory point falling to the Reich. Pack 40 has arrived.
Conditions are imminent.
Lots of machine guns dropped behind, it seems.
Area secured.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Your orders, comrade. Yes, comrade.
What shall Sageofthesix next move be? Though we are seeing that Warboss is fortifying up the centre. And these conscripts actually reach veterans to do that, so everything good to help, but they need to get out, and looks like, ooh, strafing run perhaps? Yes indeed, so that's assault support. Bombarding the house with the suspected MG position. Oh! Direct hit, shatters the wooden structure and the occupants. Flame for a half track once more fixed up. Need to be careful though with that pack. 42 hits, and of course is one of the disadvantages of the Sageofthesix. It actually has very low health. But looks like a quick Molotov is saving the day. And there we go, Pack 40 is actually decrewed, allowing the Sageofthesix to move in quickly and finish the job. We're also seeing several blitzes, or at least one, which has knocked it up, and a Panzerkampfwagen 4. And there we go, half track coming under fire, but he can't quite move.
Okay, that's the last one.
Another anti-tank grenade, very close to Veteran 2 already. Damaged engine, come on. And sadly not quite any success as the Panzer IV finally arrives. And there we go, half track down, very close to Veteran 2. If you can hit that, of course, it also actually receive less damage. There we go, Veteran 2, which is definitely giving it a great chance of surviving against the Panzer IV. H-85 on the way. Things are getting a bit tense. MD-42 coming under fire. Sageofthesix continues to struggle to get out of there. And there we go, nice hit from the Sageofthesix.
We have an isolated sector.
And a quick barrage against any encroaching pioneers. In fact, rushing them away, but things in terms of territory control is looking less grand for Sageofthesix. Now the conscript squad lost, and that was the Veteran 2-1. This is looking bad for Sageofthesix. He needs to work a bit more on his unit preservation in terms of infantry. There we go, H-85 rolling in. And looks like the Sageofthesix are then taking the charge. Going to open up on the flank by the looks of it. And there we go, Panzer IV down to half health. Panzer IV switches target to the H-85, damaged engine, and there we go. Panzer IV down, H-76 very close to Veteran 3 in fact. Brutal fighting going on right there. Panzerkampfwagen 4 lost. Brutally so. There we go. The H-76 suddenly proving itself quite lethal, and in fact once it hits Veteran 3 it's going to be a bit of a problem taking down, and again one of the less thought about advantages is actually reasonably easy to get it to Veteran 3 if you know how to use it, which clearly Sageofthesix actually does, which is actually quite impressive. And Pioneers recruiting. In fact it's time for the mid-game analysis, but Mr. Warboss needs to consolidate his front line. He's quite overextended at the moment. He's actually lost quite a few units as well, so what he needs to do is consolidate, reinforce and rebuild a front line before Sageofthesix pushes forwards aggressively and begins taking back things, because at the current moment if he hits the right spots he could absolutely devastate a Warboss. Of course Warboss does have the advantage that Sageofthesix has suffered some rather heavy losses at several junctures. He's barely got any infantry left, which is actually quite a problem. For example, a quick guardsman rifleman squad could sort of alleviate that, but ultimately though he needs to sort of begin building up a larger force more solidly, and of course he could try consider getting up some more volume simply through sheer Su-76s. Again, a few of those, and again if you can veterancy those up as well, could actually mean he could provide quite a problem and quite a headache for Warboss. But I would certainly say one of his priorities should be keeping that Su-76M alive. M standing, by the way, for modernized, just for the fun of it, as that was a later version, this one. But for example, that could be one of the things he should probably think about. And again, keeping that one alive, as again it's actually now quite a threat as well to Mr. Warboss's tanks, plus as well the infantry due to the bombardment ability. But again, Warboss needs to pull back, rebuild and restructure, whereas basically Sageofthesix needs to pursue and also rebuild. Both players need to rebuild, but for Sageofthesix it's much greater, but basically getting entire new squads in, which is definitely going to hurt him a bit and could definitely give Warboss a good chance of getting back into the fight. And of course in that sense Sageofthesix needs to be careful he doesn't get too reckless and suddenly think I'm going to win this easily, and for example end up throwing away an Su-85, in which case it's going to be game over. But let us pop back to the fight. Snipers on the way.
Suchka here.
Men say they are freezing.
We are losing territory.
Assault gunner ready for action.
Su-76, go ahead.
There we go, Su-76 getting repaired. And I mean basically the sort of veterancy scale basically goes for Soviets, you know, first the ability, then they usually either for infantry get accuracy or for vehicles damage, then a bit of damage resistance, and then veterans if free they basically get a lot more damage resistance. Sort of fun little fact there for those that are not aware. Another Panzer IV rolls out, and certainly currently it's probably one of the most effective German vehicles considering the price. It's certainly not quite as, you know, devastating as some others, but again it's probably most cost effective, and certainly doesn't help again you've got something like the Su-85, which basically means you need something cost effective since it can rather easily deal with everything else, which is not quite as cost effective in that sense, which is a bit the problem. And of course one could consider perhaps making the Stug a bit more effective against infantry, but it's already sort of decent. But again, Panzer IV simply much more cost effective. Snipers are moving out, but again also note, just because one unit is more cost effective than the other doesn't mean it's the other unit is rubbish. It's actually a logical mistake a lot of people make, you know, sort of thinking, well, the other unit is better, then this one must be crap. Not quite. Oh well. Still going to be an interesting fight. Warboss coordinating his panzers, supporting the panzers, that is good. Bunkering up to secure the centre. Snipers firing away at the panzer grenadiers. Most of the armour though is not really focused towards dealing with the enemy armour. Heavy losses to the panzers right there, and the snipers actually end up slightly retreating, panicking. And looks like the Su-76 utterly failed to hit even a single grenadier. Now they're moving ahead with a murderous intent, and we're seeing here that he's beginning to float resources. That is not good. Again, I think a guard fighter squad might provide a bit advantageous, at least more conscripts. He needs more anything at the moment. He really should not be slowly building up forces. Another Panzer IV arrives, and looks like the Panzer IV might actually have a chance to outflank it, but then again the Su-85 can simply back away faster than the Panzer IV can advance, which is a slightly less forgotten bit there, which also makes it a bit difficult to actually flank it when you can just back away and you're largely there. Now of course it's the Panzer IV's time to try and get away, but again Su-85 can advance faster than the Panzer IV can back away. Looks like a second orbital blitz has arrived.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
once more repaired. Bit of quiet again.
300 points stand between us.
But we are clearly seeing that he's rebuilding the front again. The pack MG bunker in this. Sageofthesix now resorting to a southern assault led by the snipers. No real support for that. Still lacking in infantry, tragically so, and of course also forced to begin repairing his arm. In fact, he seems to be spamming snipers in a desperate hope to perhaps drain out Warboss's infantry. In some ways that could work, but at the same time snipers in Covenant 2 are quite more exposed. One wrong move and it's definitely going to go very wrong. It looks like Mr. Sageofthesix is resorting to harassing fires. And the Panzermen are going straight for the conscripts. Oh dear. That did not work out. Second Panzerkampfwagen arrives. Still 3 snipers, that's definitely going to be a pain in the arse. For all intents and purposes. Panzer's rushing straight into it, getting caught in the fire. Literal and gunfire. And we're in return seeing strafing run going in. And apparently hit the dirt doesn't do so much. And looks like another conscript called Cut Face Death. Yes indeed, Sageofthesix does seem to have a slight tendency of overextending his conscripts and pulling them out at the wrong time, which usually means too late. Panzer IV though, running a bit too much into the H-85, already down to half health, well done. And looks like another blizzard is about to set in, and which I hope Sageofthesix isn't planning on storming into that, as that would be considered a bit of a bad idea.
We have a forward structure under attack.
Already hit by the pack, and there we go, bunker down, H-76 moving up north. Direct hit on the Pioneer Squad, getting veterans free, and oh dear, Sageofthesix is getting a bit too cocky there. He's sending in the H-85. Oh, what is he doing in the middle of a blizzard? He's not paying attention to anything, he's just rushing it like a tank. That could be the sort of thing that Warboss needs to completely turn this around and solidify his hold. Why on earth did he do that? Good lord. You've still got the veterans who free H-76, but he's still insisting on sending assault guns and tank destroyers into Blizzard, where they can actually get close to the Panzer force. There we go. Getting engaged. There we go, one Panzer force down to one, and the sniper exposed. Why did he move them in like that? Sageofthesix is getting reckless. He could easily risk losing a sniper or two. This is rather dangerous stuff, and already one sniper simply got crushed by the Panzer IV reversing over, and the pack got the second H-85. Oh dear, Sageofthesix is losing everything to the blizzard.
Shoots in here.
Under fire! What do you need?
Stealing the pack, but it might, probably is too late. And now he's just losing everything. He's only got the snipers left and they're just not going to cut it. Not against all of this.
Troops are dying in the cold.
And looks like he just lost the Grenadier Squad to the cold. Not so well done by Warboss right there.
Ready.
And a Grenadier Squad wiped out. But there are bigger problems now, and those are Panzer IVs, and again, snipers simply won't cut it. At least conscripts could have anti-tank grenaded them. I suppose one reason he's going for them is they can actually operate in the blizzard without issue.
Normal weather
It's rather risky stuff, and already there, one sniper quickly down to the Panzer Grenadiers. One Panzer Grenadier squad down, but
Infantry squad has been killed.
well, they're certainly doing a lot now. But will it actually last? And there we go, Panzer IV rolling forward, the other one getting repaired, I suspect. And there we go, nice hit from the HM6 towards the rear. Panzer IV misses, another hit and already down to half health. Another hit on the HM6, so it's down to half health as well. Oh, pack, no, don't get in front of the pack. That was a bit close. One is certainly getting the impression that Sageofthesix has thrown away any chance of victory by now. That Blizzard assault did not work out for him at all. Instead, resulted in the loss of a lot of vital infantry and tank destroyers, allowing Warboss with his greater unit preservation to actually pull things together.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But we are seeing that Sageofthesix is doing what he can against the victory points.
Securing our territory.
Probably looking to buy more time. And another strafing round being sent in. Sniper taking up position in the church. More Panzer Grenadiers arrive for the first Panzer Division. There we go, Veteran T2 for the Panzerkampfwagenfear, giving it the armoured skirts. Sniper pushed away. Being behind only one sniper inside the church, who then proceeds to bagger off as well. This is very much looking good. GG for SU, well, not SU6, but Sageofthesix. Funny how I managed to mix those two names up in my head. And the rather sad thing is that Sageofthesix for the larger part of the match was actually winning, but his rather unfortunate tendency of wasting conscripts, combined with that SU-85 assault in the Blizzard, rather cost him the game. I have no idea why he decided to charge in those tank destroyers like they were tanks. I mean, he pretty much played into the hands of Warboss with that.
Our enemy has only 200 points.
I was pretty much begging to have his tank destroyers wrecked like that. He's lucky he didn't lose the SU-76 as well, which has certainly done all right. But there we go, a third SU-85. Panzer Force continue their patrol. And another strafing run by the looks of it. And there we go. Looks like the SU-76 is finally going to be toast as it's caught bombarded. The Panzer Grenadier squad does get wiped out. And there we go, the SU-76 is finally lost, having done quite a bit of damage. To which Sageofthesix has certainly earned some credit, but it also has to be admitted he pretty much threw away his chance of victory. There we go, conscript squad crushed under the sheer weight of Krupp steel. And this fight is largely over. And there we go, playback over, game over, a loss to the 5th Guards Rifle Division. Despite some good play from Sageofthesix, he ultimately blew it all again, partly through his poor preservation of the conscripts, losing several of them in situations where he probably should have retreated much earlier. So it seems like Sageofthesix has a bit of trouble judging when he needs to retreat, which is definitely a skill you need. but also the charging on the H-85 into low visibility territory and basically trying to catch up with the Panzer Force rather did not work out for him, as that definitely gave the Panzer Force the chance to basically outmaneuver him, in particular since you operate them in teams, which clearly had the advantage there, plus the pack right here, which apparently he had quite forgotten about and again couldn't see due to the low visibility. Well, it rather cost Sageofthesix a lot and allowed Warboss to basically firm foothold on the map and basically win the match. Had Sageofthesix played a bit more conservatively, a bit more sensibly, he'd probably have won this. Had he not rushed in the H-85s, perhaps even got himself an additional Su-76s to provide artillery support, he'd probably won this. I also think he shouldn't have gone for that many snipers. 1 or 2 would have worked alright. The 3 was a bit over the top. He should have gone for more infantry, and that way probably could have won as well. I mean, just basically all of a sudden, Sageofthesix, I don't know what happened, he just suddenly plummeted, and that ultimately gave Warboss the chance to get back into things. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something in particular about the Su-76. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.